Hello, and welcome to this spiritual reality show where we are raw. Isn't that what you say, Janet?
Yes, I love it. Hello, how are you, Vivica? It's
I'm
been a while, and welcome to everyone who is watching us now or later.
Yes.
And it's amazing that we're already into February 2023.
Can you imagine that?
No,
It's,
it's so fast.
I
The
know.
best thing is that we have Valentine's Day coming up, which is the day of, that we really acknowledge love in our life. I mean, I think that is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And we're talking, our theme today is struggling and what's going on in your life. So, love that we have Valentine's Day coming. I think it allows people to like sit still and just like acknowledge the people around that really mean something to them. Who do you love? Who do you really, share your life with? Who is important to you? You look at that I always look at that on Valentine's Day. Do you look at that or even before? How do you have that in Norway?
Yes, of course we do, but it's not something that we've had for that many years. It
Hmm.
was actually an American thing, I think,
Yeah,
and
of
it just
course. I knew that.
adopted it to Norway. But for me, it's always like you said, it's about acknowledgement of the people that you love, and just a second reminder, I guess, and to maybe show a little more appreciation on that special date, especially to the closest person. And so, but I also want to say that when I was single, I used to use Valentine's Day for myself to appreciate self love, to kind of
Oh,
indulge myself, if you wish.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I've kind of, so if you don't have anybody, you can always send love to Mother Earth, to humanity, to your dogs, to your animals, whatever. But also remember yourself. I mean, self love
That's
is the
beautiful.
most important thing.
I love that. I don't even remember what I did for myself. I know that my best friend and I in like high school, we would buy each other the most gorgeous card. That was what we did. And we'd go to the card store that we loved together. We'd separate and we'd buy each other the most beautiful card that we felt, really portrayed our friendship and the love we had for each other. Because we grew up, she was right down the street since kindergarten, and that's like 12 years. We would, I mean, and she's still a good friend of mine, and she's still in my life. So this is a lifetime friend, and we'd buy each other the most gorgeous card. So that I remember, that
Mm.
was really special,
Talking
because we.
about cards, Janet, would you like to pull a card for us to get us
Oh,
started?
yes. Yes.
And
Okay. Well,
remind us now that what our topic, and then you pull this card so we can kind of try to see how this is a message to all of us for this topic today.
yes. Well, our message is, are you struggling? And, what I said was in my little blurb I put out was, how is this chaos in the outer world affecting your inner world? And, are you in chaos or are you thriving? Like, what's happening? Because you could be doing either right now, because people are doing either. And, we all have to acknowledge where we are. So this is what this show is all about today, is to acknowledge where you are and to help you maybe stop and think about it. Maybe you haven't given yourself time because we're always on the go. We're human doings too many times rather than the human being. And so, it's great to just stop and go, well, yeah, how am I liking my life? I mean, that's sort of what you do at New Year's Eve. I do that. It's like a, review of the year. Where are you at? How do you love your life? How do you like what's happening in your life? Is it the direction you want to go on? And then you can look at it and go, well, I kind of veered off here. It's not really the, some people I was with all these years I've had to let go of. It's amazing, these kinds of things that are coming up for people. So it's important to acknowledge it. I mean, if you've lost any people, to acknowledge them and love them. And they're always around anyway, as long, I mean, somewhat, I mean, I want them all to go to source and be in their bliss, but they can come in and visit you whenever you call for them, and they're always available. So we have to remember that. But a lot of people don't, and we our world has kept us separate from that understanding. So anyway, here's the card I picked, and it's Fire Spirit. And Fire Spirit, I got to pull it back here. It's beautiful, and it's the John Arthur Mosley card. Whoops, I can't even put it straight. This is always my what is this called? Anyway, John Arthur Mosley says, Fire Spirit, passion, purification, and energy. When you know who you are, When your mission is clear and you burn with the inner fire of unbreakable will, no cold can touch your heart. No deluge can dampen your purpose. You know that you are alive. I mean, how much more in touch with what we're talking about today can that be? And more, the fire spirit is the most intense of all the elements, and fire is the only element with the power of transformation. So we need this to help us transform. We need passion to help us transform and to move into that higher consciousness. So if we are stuck in old ways that we know aren't really serving us, we've got to be strong and look at it and go, okay, this isn't working for me anymore. We really have to be so strong right now because everything is distracting us. Every single thing you can imagine is trying to distract us. Balloons, uh, Grammys, you name it, earthquakes. We've got so much distraction in our world. Turkey's earthquake, that was just unbelievable. Those poor people. I hope everyone I know you have family that go to Turkey. I hope they're okay. Everybody okay?
Everybody's okay. We've spoken to, it's kind of further away, so
Good,
they're fine.
good.
Yeah.
That's good. No, yeah, a lot of places did not get affected, but a lot of places did. So,
Yeah.
so the transformation, it says all the natural elements have only clearing and cleansing, but fire is the transformative energy. So the powerful and intense energy of fire ignites and incites an immediate desire for action. Just like the wildfire, fire spirit almost always arrives unannounced and often faster than we can think or respond. Just look at how a fire comes around, like the California fires that we had a few years ago. They were so terrible. In
Fire
many
in
cases,
Australia.
and the fires in Australia, those were absolutely incredible. In many cases, fire spirit is experienced as a destructive force, but this energy is also highly purifying and helpful in consuming impurities and old dead clutter in its path, which is sometimes very necessary. And fire spirit is also the energy of ignited inspirations and passions. So if there's something you've been thinking of, oh, I've always wanted to do that, this is the time to do it. This is the time to ignite that fire, that passion in you. Don't hold back. We can't be wallflowers anymore. We can't sit back and go, oh, I'm scared. I never did. We can say it, but really push yourself. Take a couple of steps towards it because it makes such a difference. I had to do that for myself. And I'm talking from experience here. This isn't like I haven't been through this or Vivica hasn't been through this, right?
You're right. It's it's
So
it's a thing we need to address every single day because we do have a choice. And so
exactly.
being present in the moment, acknowledging the signals, especially this message, knowing that we received this message at this moment in time with this topic, these energies or this flame or this power, we can actually spark and kind of shine a
Great.
light on our path moving forward and
Hmm.
trust. I think for the acceptance of your situation, no matter what it is, good or bad, like you said, we all, we're on a journey, goes up and down, but knowing that you can move through it and allowing that fire to be there just by the
Yeah,
knowingness of it, you'll be fine.
exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. Like if you wake up in the morning and feel like that great spark, like, oh, I'm looking forward to today. I mean, I've started to do that again. I will honestly say I didn't quite have that last year so much. This year, I mean, I am preparing a summit, which everyone I can tell them about later. But I'm doing it on my own, and it's the Own Your Divine Light season 5 show, and it'll be the Divine Human Rising.
Mhm.
And
I like that.
yes, it's
Mm.
listen to me, remembering our sacred truth or recognizing our sacred truth. So I have some amazing people already lined up. It's going to not come out till May, but just to let you know, I do have other shows on my own channel, which is not Vivica's channel, but it's Yarra, Yarra, Yarra Atlantica Miller, because I use my soul name. That's what my channel's under. So if you look under Janet Miller, you're probably not going to find me. You're going to find me under Yarra Atlantica Miller on YouTube, which that was a soul name. I don't use it all the time, but I used it for that show because it was my Atlantean. It was like an Atlantean aspect of me came in, which I really, solidified in my life. So, and it's, there's all kinds of Atlantean aspects, but this is the one we're all clearing our Atlantean lines And this is what this whole lifetime is partly about, not all of it, but we have a lot of things we did in Atlantis that we're some are correcting, some are, doing exactly or more than they did, which isn't always the greatest in the negative way. But the positive way, we're moving into the shifting of our consciousness. And Atlantis was very, very high. I mean, they had ETs walking around with them. I mean, they actually had dinosaurs on the outskirts. I mean, there was everything around them. And so we don't we might we probably do have ETs in our wake. We just aren't always aware of it. And when I say that, they're extraterrestrial beings. A lot of them are of the light, but then there's also the others. So we have both in our
Well, we
in our
have both in humanity as well, so I guess that
And that,
explains
well,
it.
we do exactly. We have our that's what the duality is all about: the
Yes.
dark and the light, the shadow. And that's why working with your shadow and integrating it. And I know people don't always like that word. It's really just knowing all parts of yourself and accepting them, because those shadow parts or those other parts that you look at and go, oh, I don't like that part about me and I'm embarrassed or whatever. Sometimes they're gifts in a backward way. They show you things about yourself. I mean, I don't know. I talked about this years ago, but there was a woman, Ariel Ford, I think her name was. She was the sister of someone else that she wrote a book called uh, "The Dark Side of the Light Worker." And she talked about in it that her people knew, she said, I was a bitch. I was a bitch when I talked to people. But that part of me really got things done, and people did not fool around with me. I got things done, and she didn't want to be that way. So she shifted to soften it when she realized that that's part of her shadow. But then she recognized, okay, I can be a little too hard on people. So she softened it. So this is the way you look at yourself and you say, okay, maybe I am a little too tough sometimes. So back it off, lighten it up, come into the heart. And right now we're totally moving into our heart. We're using our heart as our compass, really, because our heart is where we go. It's really the truth. So if you're in
Yes.
your head and you're stuck there all the time, it's
Mhm.
time to get out. It's
And
time to
when,
connect it
yeah.
to your heart,
And when we
because it.
talk about oneness, we are talking about
Mhm,
the unconditional love that resides within the heart vibration. And so allowing ourselves to express the heart vibration, it actually brings healing, not only to
mhm,
your own physical body, but to your environment and to the environment as a whole. So if you really want to be a peace worker or whatever you want to call it, or a light worker or whatever label, a change maker, then please acknowledge your heart vibration and just rise within that vibration. And I promise you, the universal power of that will lift you. So everything will flow in a much higher frequency. And when you flow within that vibration, what you receive from the universe, wow, that's double in what you're putting in. I'm telling you,
oh
that's
yeah,
just the flow. It's beautiful.
I so agree, because I know so many people have to be so aware of their thoughts right now, because manifestation is coming so quickly. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm not this, I'm not that, the universe is going to bring that to you. It's going to manifest very quickly. So you've got to be so aware of your thoughts right now. If you're not happy with someone and you're sending them bad energy, you better shift it, because that's going to come back like a boomerang to you, honey, or him or her, because you are creating a kind of a karma, because you don't want that. I mean, you want to clear the decks of that as much as possible. I mean, we're human, so I get it. We're not perfect at all of it, but yet when you see these, instead of, like, people aren't happy with, their governments or whatever's going on, send them blessings. These people are struggling as well. And not that I agree with a lot of it, but yet we still have to send them love, because they need help, and they need the positive energy going to them in so many ways.
We
And
must
when we
remember
send them
that
the negative, we're
it is
feeding the
the
negative
wave.
agenda. We're
It is the
feeding a negative
wave.
agenda.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
wave of high frequency energy is what's going to lift other people. So when you, the person with the highest vibration, do have the highest responsibility because they know better. And so in
Mm,
any meeting, whether it's one on one or it's community wise or global wise, we all have to take and be responsible for our energy and where we're anchored. And are you anchored within the heart vibration or higher vibrations? you will assist in that wave that will actually help shift other people. So all you
Yes.
can do is send love because they will need it. They will need it
Yeah.
when their
Yeah.
time comes, right? To open up and
Mhm.
to embrace. We're all here to explore our own power, our innate power, and we all are here to grow. So just be focused on your self love, how you can raise yourself, and know that by doing that, you're gifting everyone around you
And
love.
you're also a way shower. You're showing people the way to do it. Because a lot of people like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know what to do. But if we are doing our best to show the better way, and we're not perfect, like we can't always get it immediately, but we're doing so much better now. I mean, I know for me, I've shifted in so many ways in the last 6 to 9 months. It's incredible. And it's because it's work. It takes a lot of work to do it. But work is a good thing. It's working for yourself. It's like, if you got a knee replaced, if you don't do the work, you can't get that knee working. I know because I had that done. So, I had to work and work and work to get that back. And so nobody could do it for me. I had to do it for myself. It's the same with, bringing yourself into your heart energy and connecting to your soul aspects that we're meant to connect with in this lifetime. So much of it is coming back to us. That's why we're here. We're all masters of this that have come in to help, but not all of them are awake yet. The ones that are awake, we're working to do the best we can, but there's so much happening in the world that is waking people up. And just be noticing. I mean, look at the Grammys. If that's not a wake-up call, I've never seen one in my life.
I don't even know
So,
what you're talking about.
oh, well,
I
I
don't
will
watch
send
the
you a
Grammys.
picture. I don't either. I didn't even watch it, but you know what? It was all over the place. So I had to see what they were talking about, and the picture alone says it all. It
I have
was,
still no clue what you're talking about. I
it's
know
all
what the Grammys are.
satanic energy. It's all satanic energy.
Oh, okay.
Heavy, 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 heavy. And they don't hide it anymore. There's no hiding. So either you believe it is or you believe it isn't. Like one of my friends says, "Oh my gosh, did you?" And I said, "No, I didn't watch it." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I even heard a media guy on the radio say it's all satanic." And I said, "Oh, they're saying that on mainstream media? Wow." And so I looked at the picture. I went, "Oh my god!" And then another friend, she goes, "Oh, this other friend, oh, it's just costumes." Well, see, this can be a form of mind control. You really have to look at how you're looking at things. Go into your heart. This is what I'm saying. Get out of your head. Go into your heart and say, um, "Is this true for me? How do I think about this?" And you can't always blow things off sometimes. There's too much going on in the world. If it's in our face, what is it telling us? It's in our face. This is not something that, is hard to identify anymore. You just have to be aware.
Yeah. I just
And
want to
it's not
share
an easy
something with
thing.
you, Janet, because
Yes.
I do get a message in the chat and I wanted to
Yeah,
share it
sure.
because I think it's a very beautiful thing to remind yourself of how important you are in your own life and to rewire and reprogram your unconscious mind. And
Mm-hmm.
she wrote, Yana wrote, I actually post a post-it note on my mirror where it says, "I'm getting better day by day."
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's beautiful. You're reminding
Excellent.
yourself that you are on the path, that you're moving, and that that is your intention, and you're owning it in that moment. So you're living from that state, which will help you attract more into your life.
Yes. And it's a
That's beautiful.
reminder all
Keep
the
doing that,
time.
Yelna. It's amazing.
Yes. It's a great reminder, and I have some of those on my mirror too. So I know it helps because we get caught up, we get distracted, and so these are reminders that we just have to constantly pull ourselves back into grounding and balance. And yeah, so I don't know if you want me to read any more. I hadn't finished this, but I can read a little
Yeah,
more on the
refinish
fire.
it. Yes,
So
please.
the fire is the energy of ignited inspirations and passions, which we talked about. From this motivation, as you said, we can achieve amazing breakthroughs and make accelerated forward process and progress in our lives. So fire spirit's message is to be ready for passion to arrive in your life and allow it to burn through any obstacles in your way. New passion is always exciting at first, but it will also mean facing some changes in the process and sometimes loss. not everyone's going to agree with what you're doing. So you've got to decide, is this something you love that much that you are going to stand firm in your own choices, no
Mm-hmm.
matter what anyone else thinks? This is the ultimate way we're living now. But this is only the loss of things that needed to go in order to make way for what's more in alignment for you now. So with fire spirit energy, you will have immediate breakthroughs into new territory in your life. Keep yourself grounded and balanced with earth spirit and water spirit energy as much as possible during these times. And they have a little breath of fire exercise you can do, where there's a breathing through the nose and the mouth, and it's an equal emphasis on inhaling and exhaling. It's sort of like a yoga breath,
Yeah.
right? Which I remember I used to do it, like you'd cover your nose and you go, and it kind of brings you into this higher. You have to stay
Elevated
grounded
state.
though,
Yeah.
because you can get a little off on it.
Yeah.
It
Real
really brings you
etheric.
up high. It
Yeah,
can
a
bring you
little
up
bit.
high, but it's called the breath of fire. So if you know the breath of fire, look it up. You could do this 2 to 3 cycles per second is how you do it. Pumping your navel towards the spine. So you're pulling in your navel on
Mm.
the exhale and releasing the navel out on the inhale. Do this for 1 to 3 minutes. And it's powerful, because when I went to yoga, I had this amazing teacher who would show us those breathing techniques. And I always appreciated that because I'd never seen that before, and she was so thorough. And breath right now is very cleansing and very important to cleanse yourself. It's like a meditation. You don't have to always sit in meditation. Just do these little cleansing breaths, and it clears your energy and it helps
I
you
do
ground.
breath work every single day.
Oh,
Not a
that's
day without,
fantastic.
because that's how I align my four bodies. If there's anything shifting within me, if there's any lower vibration stuck in any chakras or in my aura or in my four bodies, just to open up for the alignment, breath work is works wonders for me. Just to release and to be aware and to use and lift my power, it really raises you up and it pulls your soul back in. If you're very etheric,
Yes.
it pulls it back in so you can really embody all your power, which you are actually saying, and you can use different breathing techniques for to experience that. And so I love breath work. I do it, and I found I've evolved with my meditations and with my breath work based on my expansion or my soul energy and how much I can carry of my frequency at all times. So I feel the shift. Like sometimes I can have very deep breaths that goes like 20 seconds before I take another breath. Other times
Mm-hmm.
it's very heavy. I goes fast. It's all what
Mm-hmm.
flows and what's natural, what's coming to me in that moment. So I always end with that, and it really clears your mind. It really does.
Can you give us a short demo?
Well, but it's so boring, Jen, because I'm gonna hold my
No, it's
breath.
not boring, because I think people need a visual. I like visuals, so I'm a
Okay,
visual person.
no
Yeah.
problem. So what I do is I make sure that I have my grounding cords, like I'm really
Mm-hmm.
grounded, like I can already grounded myself. So I have like I can feel the essence of Mother Earth just by
Mm-hmm.
being aware of her presence. And then do have my chakra open and my star. I always connect through my star. So I know that I'm heaven on earth, if you wish, like I'm the bridge. So I'm pulling myself into this physical body. And as I'm in that, I move my center into the heart space, and so that's when I start breathing. And usually I start by counting in by seven. So I breathe in on seven. And I do put my tongue up on my, what do you call this, palate? The
Palette,
palate,
yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, so I do breathe in through my nose and I hold for the count of four. That's how I start. And then I breathe out on seven. And I do that with my tongue in my palate. So it looks like this.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the count of seven. Inhale,
Mhm,
hold for
mhm,
four, out for seven. And when I'm into that flow, that's when I raises it to have a wider, to, how do you say, to expand my energy so that I can be more, encompass all of me. Then I hold for seven, and then I breathe for seven, and that's how I start. And then I move it up as I go along. Depends on how deep I go, and I will be not breathing for a while, and then it will naturally come. But then I'm in a trance. It's I've already gotten there where I'm in the trance. And this has been really great for me because I'm a channel. So when I
Yes.
channel, sometimes they speak like long sentences without me catching my breath. And I remember doing this for a while and people said, "Don't you breathe?" Aren't you afraid? I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So this has kind of been naturally unfolding for me
Okay.
because I have that gift. And so the
Interesting.
yes, so and I did meet. I had an opera singer, Janet, come to me who did a life between lives hypnosis. And when she came out of trance. She goes, "You know what? I was so focused on your breath and how you used your voice and how far in between that kind of enlightened me. So I had to remove that because she was so obsessed with how I could use my voice." And she said, "Are you an opera singer?" I'm like, "No, I don't even sing." This is a true story. I was like,
That's
okay. So I went home
fantastic.
to my husband and said, maybe I should get a career singing opera.
Well, you could be a voice coach to help them learn the breathing, because that is a skill. It is an
Yeah.
amazing skill.
And it's
That's
natural. I think
powerful.
it's a natural thing that's been evolved or developed as I have just allowed myself to express my gift
Mhm.
and to go into that. And it's just been listening and tuning in and allowing my body and especially my soul and my voice, the fifth chakra. I've been working on releasing whatever was stuck in that chakra so that I could really open up and I could
Mm.
sense that difference. So I did a lot of sound work to open that, to breathe even deeper. So I actually done
Wow.
that. And it all comes naturally to me. Like, oh, I need to do that now. I feel it. So it's about allowing yourself to be in the space and trusting your body and the energy moving around and just allowing it to happen.
Well, you're
Natural flow.
listening and you're also listening to your body. And that's the problem. A lot of us don't listen. I was listening to a quick talk by, so you listen so well, Maureen St. Germain. And she said she does this thing. She gave people an idea for 45 days. Don't use your pendulums. Don't use like if you check your fingers like this and things like that, just ask your body, give me a new sign that'll tell me yes or no. So this is a whole new slate. You just sit with your body, ask it yes or no, and then whatever you got. And I'm doing it actually. I'm doing it. I thought it was very clever because sometimes I don't always, I don't stop. So I said, okay, I'm going to do this. So now I got two different signs, a little bit similar, but it was still different. And I'm trying. I mean, I did mess up once and did a couple others, but I didn't use my pendulums. But so for 45 days, it'll resync your trust. It's going to build trust in you with your source answers. That what you're getting is from source, and you, of course, you've got to put yourself in a nice grounded sacred space to make sure you're getting the right information from the right beings. But you got to, once you do that and you get that, you're aligned in the right way and you get that sign, use it for 45 days and then it's going to realign everything for you, and your trust is going to be so developed now that you can do things without, you can always know that the answer you get is a beautiful truth that you need to follow. Even if you weren't going to do something, if you got the answer to go do it, then go do it and just don't
And
question it.
I have something I want to say when it comes to that because a lot of people, like you said, this really works. What you're telling, sharing people. I mean, a hypnotherapist who I've done a lot. I use the physical body also as a tool, as a pendulum,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
that's one of the first things I started
Yes.
to learn. And it was because also it's a trust in yourself and
Mm.
trusting your connection. So it doesn't have to be anything else. It's all about getting your energy moving. And so this is a very simple thing that you can do, not to start with making big decisions. But I remember I had a woman come to me and she goes, "I'm so bad at choosing if there's a sweater and they have it in different colors,
Mhm,
I want to
mhm.
buy all of it, but I can't afford that. So what do
Right.
I do?" I was like, okay, so when you're in the fitting room, this is what you do. And she did this. I taught her and programmed that if you fall, you just stand grounded, bend your knees a little bit, and you allow your body to be that pendulum. You close your eyes, you center yourself, and you ask the question, and you just breathe. If you're being pulled forward, it's a yes. If you're feeling you're dropping backwards, it's a no. And she started to use that, and she was so happy. She was so pleased with the exercise because then she got the clear answer. She goes, well, I want it, but I know I'm going to feel bad if I buy all of it, but I was falling back, so I'm not having that color. I'm taking the green one because I'm being pulled forward. And so she started to use it in different ways and areas of her life. And she felt like she was beginning to trust herself again.
Hmm. And I do have a little caveat to that because I've used that myself. And you have to check what is your yes, your personal yes, and what is your no. Because sometimes it's reversed.
Oh, yeah, you have
You'd
to
be
program
very
that.
surprised. So when you want to do that, check it first. So you get yourself grounded again, like you're saying, and then ask source. I'm in the sacred space. You know, you're talking to the right beings. And they say, well, what is my yes? And then they'll show you in your body. And what is my no? And so then you get your clarity for you individually. So yes, I love that. I
Mm,
used that for years, and I still kind of use it because it is very helpful. I've tried not to use it during this time I'm practicing the new trusting idea so that I can be super like decisive. Like I'm pretty good now, but like that woman with the shirts, I could be a little like that in the past. And so I'm like, nope, I don't want that anymore. I want to be decisive. I don't need all this. I need that. And what do I do next? And is this the right people to be with? Is this the right event to go to? Things like that. It really makes a difference. Like, should I go to this event? Should I go to this party? Do I need to be with these people? I mean, all kinds of questions you can ask yourself to know you're in alignment. I mean, you want to be in alignment with your best energy right now. You want to be aligned with this fire energy, this fire spirit that you're living your passion. This is what we're meant to do. This is how we bring our higher consciousness and our heaven on earth here because it's here. It's here. So, yeah, it's great. It's great that we're sharing this because these are good tools, and people may know about it, but they may have forgotten about it. Not that they haven't heard it maybe before, but it's so nice to have reminders. I mean, I love
yeah.
reminders.
And
That's
when you evolve and you start using new tools, like when I activated my heart vibration, it was very you will feel that because I can actually feel that I'm centered within my heart. So
mm,
for me, I now notice when I'm making decisions where it's coming from because I feel very
yes.
strongly if it's from my mind or if I'm centered in my heart. And if
Mm,
I'm not in my heart space, I will not make a decision until I've taken myself or given myself that time to center myself. And sometimes I use my breath. Sometimes I just take myself out of the situation and just or accept whatever is coming and just allow myself to surrender and then see what unfolds. I do not
mm,
want to control anymore because I can feel when I'm trying to
yes.
control the outcome. I can
Yes.
feel if I'm like, okay, I
Yeah.
need to do that because if I don't do that, then these people are going to think like that and they are going to
Yep.
think I'm
Yep.
stupid. But it's like, no, I don't need, this is all me, all me. I
Hmm.
decide it's my responsibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
So
love
it's
that because I do the same now. In fact, sometimes you have to touch your heart. Like if
yeah.
you're not used to it, if you touch your heart, it'll bring you into your heart. Like we don't think about it. Like how do I do that? How do I connect with my heart? People might be saying, so touch it, touch your heart, and breathe into it. Just a couple of breaths. It doesn't have to be fancy. Just feel your feet in the ground, and then your body comes into, like, you might be out of your body. If you're out of your body, you're not going to get information that's grounded. So when you breathe and you're touching your heart and you bring your spirit back into your body, because a lot of times we like to be out in the ethers because that's our favorite place, but we want to be grounded on this earth when we make these decisions, because this is where these decisions play out, is here. So when you breathe and you touch your heart, then you ask, and like you said, you can feel like this warmth in your heart. You can feel something percolating. I mean, you just feel a change. Not like, it's not the same as when you're in your head. So you're going to just recognize what your sign is, how it works for you, because we're all a little bit different.
Mhm.
But like what you do, I do similar, just little tiny shifts and changes. But it's so powerful because we're not all the same, and
Yeah.
we're meant to just be in alignment with us. Let go of the judgment of others. You really have to stand strong right now. You cannot worry about everyone else's judgment. I'm serious. It's so important to be in your soul sovereignty, to
Mhm.
be totally grounded in what you're doing and to
And
know
I
your choices.
know when you're saying this that a lot of people thinking that's easier said than done. I know
Of
this because
course.
it's we're all in the ego mind and we're all feeling duality. So we look at life either from the fear point of view or love, and it's all
Mhm.
about aligning and knowing that as long as you're a human being, you're going to move through fear. You're never going to get rid of any fear, but it's how you address it and your intention behind movement through it and allowing yourself to self love, allowing yourself
Yes.
to, like you
Yes.
said, do not judge, lift yourself on that high
Mhm.
vibration again, and know that when you're focused on the high vibration, everything will come to you in divine order. Trust it.
Yes, and I love that you brought in the fear because fear is so important to acknowledge. Like there's so much fear being permeated on us, like thrown at us, like constantly. Oh, this is happening, that's happening. Look out, be scared. Do another thing, do this, do that. You have got to step away and go, okay, I got to breathe here because they're putting me into total panic. I mean, we start swirling. If you're swirling, you're not in grounded for sure, and you're not going to make a good decision. So
Exactly.
step away. All the fear that they generate, just realize what is the worst that could happen. All right, so I'm going to say the word. We could die. Okay, we could die, but guess what? We're still brilliant essences of light. I mean, nobody wants to die. I'm not saying we will, but this is getting rid of the fear of death is a huge thing. And I know I've been working through my own because, I'm at an age where, well, it's around a little more. There's a lot of people leaving the planet, but then that's happening because of many other instances right now. But to acknowledge your fear and go, how bad is this? Could I break through this fear? And what's going to be on the other side? Once you break through and go, what's going to happen to me? Okay, what's the worst that could happen? All right, you could die. So you go back to source light. Just
Mhm.
realize you're going back to your bliss. This isn't the worst thing that can happen to you, but yet we don't want to leave our family. We don't want to leave our children, grandchildren, whatever's around us, partners. We don't want to leave these people, but yet we're here to do something that's really specific. We're really here to raise the consciousness. When you get in your heart and acknowledge that this is what we're here for, and it's not just about material things and having a good time on earth all the time, but you need to have joy in your life. So really, you have to have that.
And
But
my
to,
experience is
yeah,
that um, the fear is always showing up in the details. If you focus on the details, and if you focus on um, the details, I guess, in how would you say control needs, or you want to control something, that's when I can get feel that fear come up because I'm
mm,
not able to control the details. It's
yeah,
overwhelming,
yeah, of
and
course,
that's
yeah,
kind of like, okay, you have no idea. So for me, I know the fear is in the details and the hows, how to do this, how to get it done, what, and those questions for me can trigger fear. So I'm just
sure.
releasing
But you
that.
know what?
Yeah.
Go ahead, finish what
No,
you're
I just
saying.
want to say I that's when I release it and I say I accept my situation.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
surrender.
Yeah,
And as soon as I surrender, I get the bigger picture. My intention becomes very clear. What do I want out of this? What's my highest intention for my highest good? And that's when I see that I've shifted. I've shifted my mindset and I've moved out of fear. I moved through it and I'm on the other side. So that's how
right,
I noticed with me that my fear
exactly.
comes up in the details.
Yes, and I have some of the same thing, but what's interesting? I know all the different things I've done. I've always said to myself, I'm scared to death to do this, but if I don't do it, am I going to be so disappointed in myself that I couldn't get through this to see what the outcome could be, that I have no idea what it could be, because we don't know what the outcome is going to be when we let go of it. We're trusting source. So these exercises we just gave you, this has come like full circle. All the exercises we've given you now is to help you trust yourself, trust the answers that you're getting from source, so that when the fear comes up, that you can ask for the answer. It'll, and your heart's going to tell you, because it's coming from source, because you are source. We are all part of source light. So you are just getting an answer that you need from your own higher self. And so when you get that answer, then let go of the fear. There's no more fear left, because you know it's going to work out in whatever way it's meant to. And you can't know what the outcome is. Okay, maybe I have a certain goal. Well, you can put it in there loosely, but you can also allow it to unfold in the way that's best for you, which we don't always know, but source does know. So when we allow source to help guide us, we get the better answer. We get the better outcome. It's incredible. And and this is what I've done. And it's I can't say any of this is easy or perfect, but now with this new energy coming in right now, it's so important to do this, to get aligned with our source and to trust our answers. And then the fear is going to flow away. And you just look and go, wow, look at, if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have been where I am right now. I wouldn't know these people that I know right now. I wouldn't be living my passion right now. I mean, seriously, when you're living your passion, nothing matters. Nothing else matters. You're just happy. Your whole life shifts. Everything comes into alignment. Your outsides matches your insides. It's wonderful. I mean, and it takes time. Mine are just starting to do that now after 6 and 9 months of incredible deep diving on myself. It's just, and I will say, it's well worth it. So we have
Thank
we have
you for
tools.
sharing.
Vivica has a tool. She does her past life regressions, the Michael Newton work. I do the human design divine mapping work. And I also have another device, the Solex AO scan, that I work with people. So we all have our tools that we can help you. And if you want help from us, or if not, just go in and start doing it. And if you're stuck, that's when you need help. I ask for help plenty of times, because I can't always do it alone. We always
Great.
learn from each other. We learn
Yes.
from each other constantly.
Mm. Thank you so
So,
much, Janet, for sharing that. And yes, I think that was a perfect ending to this session, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, let's see. I have two different little endings here. Which one do people need to do? I think it's this one. It's the longer one. The
Yeah.
lesson in everything. So here it is. Anything that annoys you is teaching you patience. Anyone who abandons you is teaching you how to reclaim your autonomy. Anything that angers you is teaching you forgiveness and compassion. Anything you judge is teaching you acceptance. Anything that has power over you is teaching you how to take your power back. Anything you hate is teaching you unconditional love. Anything you fear is teaching you courage to overcome your inhibitions. Anything you can't control is teaching you how to let go. Anything you encounter in life is teaching you a lesson of personal mastery.
Oh, I like that. Who wrote that? Is that yours?
No, it's Gabby Kovalenko. And
Mm,
I
beautiful.
found it, Be Your Creator. Be Your Creator.
Mm,
And, what are we here to do but is to self master? We're here to be
yes.
self mastering ourselves, and to,
And to
share it with
co
others.
create a new and better world, which is more compassionate.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So there you go. There we
Yeah.
are.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Janet, for
Thank you,
your
Vivica. You,
wisdom, insights
yours
for
as well.
today. Thank you. And thank
Yes,
you for everyone watching
we
or will
thank
be
you
watching,
all.
for being here and joining us and doing this work together. I really do appreciate that. I know we're stronger together, so I really do appreciate
Absolutely.
that.
Stronger together is beautiful. And be aware of all your surroundings. Stay in the light as much as possible. All
Yes.
right. We love you all.
Love
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.
Bye, Vivica.
Bye, Janet.